3. 1, 2, 3. Very good. You're not fired.
Where am I looking at?
So do not look at that or that.
Okay.
You are looking at me. Because otherwise, why am I here? If you see me doing this, it means come back to me.
Got it.
All right.
But it's okay if I look at that one?
Well, there's going to be a point when you do look at that one. You are looking at me for the majority of it. But what happens is I might cut to me, I might cut to you, but I don't want you looking at it like a goon. Because what happens? Talk to that real quick. Say hi to me and talk to there.
So yeah, it looks funny.
It does look funny, doesn't it? You're carrying on a conversation with
nobody.
That camera and just being like, hey, ref, how are you enjoying your day? Do you have a good day? And I might be like, brother, I'm right here, man. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you with another great installment of the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. We have a new friend here. We're going to get into him and introduce you to a different guy than the guy who I was rolling with. More on that in a second. But before we go any further, a few quick reminders. One, if you like the show, and I hope that you do, I would love it if you like, comment, and subscribe on this video right now, wherever you're watching. So a like, a comment, a subscribe. Even if you don't know what you want to comment on right this second, I will give you a prompt by the end of this interview so that you will know exactly what to put a conversation about. So wait till the very end of that. Additionally, if you enjoy this show, you can check us out at patreon.com/grappling hour. For just $5 a month, you can see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you can see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including segments like Roast Raf, where people roast my competition footage. And we've had famous people who are very good at Jiu-Jitsu tell you why I suck at Jiu-Jitsu. Granted, they're not great with words, so it kind of evens out. We have to do one about a dude who's about to be in the UFC that beat me in a match. He's the only person to sub me in competition, but he just got a UFC contract. And I'm torn because I want this dude to do well. I like him a lot, but he didn't give us our interview yet. So until he does, JP, I'm just saying, come find your boy. We've got something to talk about that's really dope. Anyways, so go check that out. Patreon.com/grappling hour. And check this out. Look at this merch. It is getting cold out there, people. You want to get a hoodie, a Grappling Hour hoodie. It keeps you nice and warm. If you go to compete, this keeps you hella warm and gets you more gold medals. Cannot prove that. But don't not believe me and get one anyways. Because what if I'm not telling the truth? You could prove me wrong. Take that, me. So you can get that at rafesparza.com/merch. And finally, if you want to continue the discussions that we have here on the show, head on over to Discord and find us at Grappling Hour. All right, let's talk about our guest. I'm confused by this young man. Here's why. He walks in, the nicest human being I've ever encountered outside of the cage. Could not be nicer. Asked me for permission to step onto the mats. When I ran into him after he won, nothing but cordialness in text. Wonderfully nice. And then you start to roll with this young man. And I don't know where that guy went. It is the most Jekyll and Hyde roll I have ever had. And I've had a lot. And I've rolled with a lot of our guests. But he's coming straight off a win at an event I served as a post-match interviewer. He is incredibly nice. He was beloved that day at his place of work, where he got his very first MMA win at Tarantula Hill, a favorite of ours here at the Grappling Hour. We'll get more into that in a second. But for the time being, before we see the Hyde to the Dr. Jekyll in front of us, please say hello to one Bailey Seas. How are you doing, brother?
Very good. Thank you for having me. I feel great.
Okay, you should. So do you recognize this about yourself, where you have a different switch when you are rolling?
100%. You know, I train to train that side of me. You know, as we spoke about, like I need to control that more. Of course, it comes out, but I'm 100% aware.
So let's go back. At what point in our roll, because we rolled for about an hour and change.
Yeah.
At what point did you say, "Oh, I need to mess up this host"?
I think mainly when you got that electric chair, I'm doing the splits, you know, like my groin's hurting. I'm like, dude, I am so stuck. Like, I need to get out of this. And after that is when I was like, all right, I need to turn it up, you know, so you can feel my pressure. And we went from there, or I went from there at least, you know.
You did. And I understood what you were trying to do. So I didn't take it offensively. But then you stopped. And get closer to the mic if you could, young man.
You got it.
Okay. And then you had the nerve to tell me, you were like, hey, boring. And I go, I'm not going to disagree with you. But I was looking at you being like, well, I almost wanted to be a dick and be like, well, you're not submitting me. But instead, he beat me to it. He goes, you're just happy that you're not getting submitted. And I go, I can guarantee you this. I am not happy about any of what's happening right now.
You know, I said that because definitely it was getting to me in my mind when we were rolling. I'm like, dude, why can't I fucking submit this guy? Like, I need to do something, you know, like, and eventually when I said that, I think you brought me back to it because even at that, you're like, are you okay? And then I'm like, yeah, you know, like I'm in the moment, I'm like, oh yeah, I am. But I get back to it, and then it just, of course, it was a hard roll, but I focus on the submission. Like we talked about, like I want more, even if I'm doing good. You know, I'm like, fuck, I need to do more. It doesn't matter, you know. And that's the Jekyll side.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just telling you. I was like, hey, bud, I hope you know you've been winning this round pretty well. So it's not like I was sitting up there being like, got a half sweep, take that bitch. I was legitimately like, man, I got to get out of these positions and get to a better one. And I was struggling to get out of some bad spots. And I recognized, I was like, man, his jiu-jitsu is very tight. You have a mix of several different games that I really like. And I think they make a superb fighter. So it's no surprise that you ended up with a win this Saturday at the RFL, this new organization's out in Southern California, and they're great. We enjoyed them a lot.
Yes.
But it was just like, am I fighting this dude? Because I have a rule, and here's my rule. I match however you go.
Right.
So the minute we do this, I literally go, okay, this is a choose your own adventure. And the adventure you were deciding to go down had a lot more volcanoes and explosives and people trying to kill each other. Yes. And I thought, okay, how much of that do I want to do? And it was such a contrast because I just saw you being so nice and polite. And I thought, like, is this the same guy? And does he take this personally? Like, did I do something to him at a certain point?
No. You didn't, you know. It's just the game, you know. I love that people have told me, you know, you're very aggressive, and I think, I don't know, it's just the style. I've had to learn how to tone it down because jiu-jitsu, it is aggressive, but it's knowing when to use it, you know. I know you're very well versed. Your defense was so great. You're so strong, you know. I had to try to do the crazy stuff, but that stuff doesn't work, you know. And I think that's the lesson that I have to learn more when I train, you know, and not lose myself in those times of like just going crazy, where more towards the end, like how you told me, you know, try to zone in and focus more. And I think I did more towards the end. Or the first roll, I mean, nonstop, 15, I don't know, we did 15 minutes at least.
It was really long.
Yeah, you know, that was even that just in general, like my brain gets mad. Like sometimes I get mad when I'm lifting weights. I'm like, fuck, why is this so hard? You know, like it gets me more mad, and I have to learn how to control it more, you know? But for the most part, I feel like I do.
I mean, do you want to know how long it was?
How long?
I mean, do you want to know? I don't know if this is going to pull it back out of you, sir.
I do want to know how long. Okay. Eventually.
We didn't stop until 40 minutes in.
What the?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, dude.
Yeah, man.
That did not feel like that. Like, I don't know. It was, it was intense, you know, it was intense, but it was great, you know?
So I have this rule whenever we do a marathon roll, and I should have known that your first tip off was when you said, how long is this roll? And I just said like, oh, I'm not going to put on a clock. Because normally I don't care. Like if you tap me, awesome. Congrats, dude.
Let's
like
keep going.
I want to learn as much as you want to learn. And I don't expect everybody I'm going to come in, I'm going to have an answer to or an ability to keep up with them. Especially, dude, as I get older, I've come to a very even place of I'm usually going to learn as much as the guest. And even if I know more than them, or maybe I'm a little bit better, nobody's ever going to know that. Like, we're just going to have fun. We're going to train and get to know each other. And it's going to be a blast. Here, I was like, oh, I don't know if he's having fun yet, but okay. Well, how do we try to make this fun? And like I told you while we were rolling, I was like, you know, if somebody has not good impulse control and they get really angry, I put time on the clock. But I knew at your core, still a nice guy, and you weren't trying to be mean. You were just trying to win.
Yes.
And I said, oh, he's a nice dude, but he has a different side of him. And it makes sense that you found fighting. Because in that world, it's an outlet for you to mix your background as a wrestler, mix your background as this dude who has been doing jiu-jitsu for 5 years with some very great people.
Yes.
And then on top of that, having this budding style of learning striking. So when you're doing that, you want to be able to show yourself as a full martial artist. So there was a moment where a forearm came to my chin.
Yes.
And then I locked in myself and I said, you know what? He told me his favorite fighter is GSP.
Yes.
So what I remembered in that moment, and this is how I like think when it looks like I'm just chilling, I realized this was you pulling your GSP of taking yourself as a martial artist very seriously and doing the best job that you can.
Yes.
And that's why I didn't take offense to it. So the hard part for me is I'm like, well, I'm kind of trying to have fun. I don't know if you are, but I could see the dedication to your craft. And that's why I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Let's see where we can do it. And then at the very end, we did do 2 rounds of timed rounds. And I can tell you, clean. So much better. So incredibly good. I did pin him, though. I want to make sure that is for the record. He is a wrestler, and I did pin him. And he has to acknowledge that.
He did.
Because I'm not going to get that the next time, I don't think. I think if I've learned anything in the rolls, if it even looks close like it the next time, he's going to fight me like hell to make sure I don't hit a cradle on him.
I will fight it. You know, I wasn't happy, but, you know, I stayed calm and got out eventually. But your pressure, I was like, holy, like, please, can I get out of this? You know, like, I don't want to be here right now.
Now, guys, the thing is this. Can't emphasize enough how... whatever you're seeing right here, you will, if you roll with him, it is going to be a whole 180 when you just go, all right, we're going to have fun. And he's great. Because my thought process was, I had the electric chair within the first 30 seconds of our rolling.
Yes.
So it wasn't then that you decided to kick it up.
That was the time because
So wait a minute. Literally the first 30 seconds was when you decided you were going to go harder.
Yeah, because you got me in that. I was like, how the, like, for one, like I told you, I'm so like you said, martial artist, classic. I like all, like, another favorite of mine is Hickson Gracie, you know, basics, like using your body, this and that. So the electric chair, I'm like, oh my God, like, the one thing that I don't like, no, it's a great technique, but I can't do it. Like, it's not like my style, you know?
Yeah.
So it gets done to me, and then I'm like, oh man, like, I didn't even know how to get out of it at first. And then as you put more pressure, that's in those moments, I stay a little bit calm, and then I escape, but you still got on top. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm playing bottom then, you know?
See, I registered you going a little more intense a little bit later in the roll. I didn't know that's when I signed my death sentence. So we're literally, it was after this that you said, now, fuck you, Raph, I'm going to kill you, right?
Once you put me in the splits, that was it, you know?
Would you have rolled nicer with me if I hadn't done that to you? Or would you have done the same thing?
I would have got to my position, like, let's say, because I love to go to the back, I would have got to the back. And for me, I wouldn't have submitted you right away, especially if we're just like, just going, and I know, like, oh, he's letting me get his back, but I want to see how you, I want to see how you escape in my position and what I have to look out for and how should I attack the back, you know? So But once you got me there, I was like, okay, you put your move, now the time's on, like time to use my guard, time to use everything, you know? I feel like you're saying, I hit a lot of things. I'm very well-rounded because as a martial artist, I like to know, like I said, like what guard I should have, what to do in half guard, when I'm in mount, when I'm here, when I'm that, and then all the steps that lead out of those, you know? But I try to cover most of the ground, you know?
Oh, the one thing I took away from it, though, is I had a great admiration for your game. So as we were going, even if you were like, I hate Raph right now, I was in a place I'm like, dude, he's really good. Like, I was just really impressed the whole time.
Thank you.
And it wasn't until I got a few forearms to the face that I started being like, I don't know that I like this. But now I'm starting to realize mentally he's frustrated.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, he wants me to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I'm pretty good at, I don't think I'm great at a ton of things, but it is hard to break me.
Yes.
And it is hard to make me make dumb moves. And I've had people tell me that sometimes I will give up a position that will make them overthink it, where they'll be like, why is he giving me this? And in actuality, they just earned it. And so it's kind of weird. I sometimes take it as a compliment, but I never take it as fully winning.
Right.
The only thing I take it as, I'm like, I have somewhere in his head that he's not like quite there with me yet.
Right.
So now I have maybe a little edge that I can exploit at the right time and place. So here's what we are going to elect to do. You're going to come back and train at some point. Please. But the deal is going to be, you're going to have a lot more fun. Okay. Are you down for that?
I'm down for that for sure.
Okay.
I'm 100% down.
How do you think you're going to have more fun the next time we roll?
I think that there is moments where I don't focus as much, but when the moment I feel, because it's always that game, you know, it's always like, if I give an inch, you'll take it. If you give an inch, I'm going to take it. So maybe I'll give more inches, kind of like you did to me today as well. And if you take it really hardcore, either try to survive or I think I'd play more guard, if anything, because you immediately play guard. Sometimes I'm like, even when it's just my first time, I'm like, I'll stand up, and if they take me down, they take me down, you know, because I got taken down. Okay, they think I might be a wrestler, but then let's see my guard. You know, you still got to pass my guard. And I think next time I'd play more guard, and I don't know. I know I would have a lot more fun when I just play guard and kind of let you get to positions. That's when I'm having fun. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna come up with a couple ways, I think, the next time. Tell me. So similar to how I did it where we did time, I'll come up with some games where we can actually enjoy the role a little bit more, because that's going to be my goal for you. I don't want to be in DEF CON 5. Yeah. Because I just looked and I go, I'm very composed and calm. You were. But I don't know when my Jekyll and Hyde kicks in and I start throwing hands too. And I'm like, dude, don't fucking throw that throat punch right there. Like, it's all fun in games, but I'm like, oh, I'm fine. This is annoying. Yeah. But like, there were a couple times where, if anything, I told you at one point you had like really good mount pressure where you're usually like your cavity of your chest and just pushing it into my face. And I could feel like my nose just like going up like this. And I go, this is not going to submit me. It's just annoying. And then it would make me have to go like, if I have frames that aren't killable, then he's going to be giving me part of the out. So I was like, okay, I gotta find out how to next time make this happen. So I'm gonna throw a couple ideas at you. Okay, first idea. First idea is I'm gonna talk more trash to you. Do you think that will make you have more fun? It does, but I know how to play that game too. Where there's a point in my mind where I'm just like, kind of like where I kind of gave up with you for a sec. I'm like, if you're just gonna sit there, you know, like I could sit here too. Or sometimes reverse, I'd go crazier. So then I'd mess up and make a mistake, and then now I'm on bottom, like, you see, or like it opens something up, you know? Because sometimes I was like, all right, I'd try to lose my position in mount because I know I'm good, but I'm moving, I'm doing weird things like with your arm that's not doing anything, and I'm like, maybe you'll bump me off or something. And it'll lead to something else. I don't know, you know? I tried, like, I saw that I could reverse 1-2 some of the escapes. And I was like, he knows I'm going to go here and land on my hip, or I'm going to be a little off base, so he's just going to jump back. So it made me have to be a little more creative in terms of maybe how I could sneak 1 or 2 things in. Okay, 2. Okay. Trying to think of how to have more fun on this. 2, what if you have to have your hands tied behind your back at one point? You can't play with your hands. One hand I could see, but two hands no.
All right. Okay.
Because two hands is kind of funky. Unless you're like a real guard player. Like I would play that game if I'm doing like guard retention. I need to swing my legs and I can't use frames.
I was about to say, have you ever played with the gi where you have the belt and you have to put the hands
with one hand? I have.
Oh, you've done it with
not
one
with
hand.
My professor, his name Professor Raul. Shout out Professor Raul. He would do that.
You're very good, sir.
He is good.
Compliments to the chef.
He would do that as an old school technique that he learned, and we'd switch our hands, and it was fun. Definitely you would see, kind of how to use your hand and kind of stiff it and where my power, if they're using their force, where I need to put my hand, or sometimes they deflect it and then pass or whatever, So I think the one hand game is good.
Okay.
But that definitely would be fun.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out something here. How about the loser pays for lunch the next time?
That's fair.
You like that?
But is losing like even points though? Because
because now we started to think of it. He's like, I don't know if I could submit you.
I don't know because I didn't. I had basically, if we did 40 minutes plus 5 minutes, I had 50 minutes to, and I couldn't, And
not today, but now you have more intel.
I do, but even me, like it's kind of a bad thing I do, but I don't like study people's games a lot. Like
no, but
not that you studied my game, but
no.
I know that people do certain things, but I'm just like, all right, let's roll in whatever position. My mind's like, whatever you put me in, I need to get out of.
But in real time, you do a great job of analyzing. So I don't think you need to do that. Some people just don't. They're good at touch, so they feel the position, and then when they're in that, they make great instinctual moments. I think those are the people that don't have to study. My general rule for studying people's games are if you know that's not your thing, somebody on your team should be doing it.
Got it.
So that way it's like you trust them to have eyes on your opponent so you don't over analyze or think about them. Because some people really don't do well with overthinking that. They make their opponent bigger than they need to do.
Yes. And
for you, just seeing how you worked in real time, like you were solving some of the puzzles I was throwing at you very well. I don't think it's necessary. So you don't need to figure that out. We'll define wins or loses. We'll take some time to think about that. But you get what I'm trying to get at here, which is I'm trying to creatively figure out a way so that when I do talk trash to you, that it's fun and base, that then I can bring you back to this upstanding young man who's been so funny and nice. And that way, whenever we get to the end of it, it's just we shake hands and then we're back to normal.
Yeah. I think most times I can, when we do the shake hands, I go back to normal because that's the thing I like coming from my academy where I learned Jiu-Jitsu at Marumbi is that you needed that respect there, every time. Doesn't matter if it was a really hard roll, like we're going to shake hands and kind of let it go after that,
Yeah.
And I think the shit talking is good, but sometimes it gets to me, and then sometimes I'm like, they want to get to me, like lock in more. Like I know it sounds like that. Like the last one you said, if I win, if you don't tap me, so technically you won, but I felt really good. I was like, I don't care. Like now you gave me the game on like how to not focus on that. So I didn't focus on the submission. I just was like, dude, out of all the rounds, I didn't have you in full mount like I had you that last round, and I really was analyzing more, instead of just like, damn, like I can't do anything. Like I'm trying everything and I can't do anything. I'm trying to be like a white belt. I'm trying to do clean stuff and like nothing's working,
Well, the reason I did that, and I did say it a little bit later, and for those of you who are watching this, we'll get to the real stuff here in a second.
Yeah.
But the reason I find this fascinating is when you start talking to him, you're going to find all the shit that you understand why people love him so much. But like, this was 100% like who are you?
180.
It was a 180. It took me a second. And then we're like, right when we finished, you were like, that was fun. Anyways, what are we doing now? And I go, hold the fuck. But what I did for you in that last thing was you stopped mid-roll when we were doing our shit. And you said, you're so happy that I'm not submitting you.
Yeah.
And I looked at you and I was like, not really, but I wish I was doing a little bit better. But that's not what you think I'm thinking. So what I wanted to do was give you a game where the worst scenario in your head would happen, which is you think I would take a win off of being beaten positionally, even though you didn't submit me. And then I was like, do you see how none of that matters? And then you were just like, I'm fine. I was like, that's how you should be.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, if you start playing games like that, as opposed to taking it so inertly serious, in a way, you will find how to have fun roles in addition to how to have your competitive roles.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm looking at you and I go, hey, bud, I don't know that there's a medal at the end of this. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe next time there's a medal too. We'll figure out something.
Yeah.
But it just made me so, it was so surprising and it made me laugh. And I wanted to make sure you knew I wasn't laughing at you as a person, but just the situation of like, what's happening? And then literally just being like, hey, what's going on? I'm going to go shower now. This is cool. This is fun. And then I like come over. I was like, do you want water or anything? Like, this is so rad. Thanks, man. I go, no, this is the kid I met. So let's talk about this incredible fight. You got a fight done within about 30 seconds, 40?
A minute and 5 seconds.
Okay. So it was really fast.
Yeah.
I want to know, where does this opportunity find its way in your life? So how do you, a guy who's never fought before, find this opportunity to fight?
I'll start from the beginning. I was at Tipsy Go in Thousand Oaks. After I worked at Tarantula Hill, I got off and went for like the last 30 minutes. I go there. One of the security guards, he comes up. He's like, hey, somebody wants to talk to you. Or he's like, the security wants to talk to you. And I was like, me? And he was like, yeah. And he points. And I see a guy over there and I walk up and he's like, are you a fighter? And I'm like, I always would say no because I never had gotten in a cage. Jiu-Jitsu guys, the stigma is we're not fighters. We don't get punched. So you're not a fighter, you know? So I would always say, no, I do jiu-jitsu. That's what I would say because obviously my ears all fucked up. And he was like, well, I'm a promoter and, I have fighters. His name was Jamal. He worked for RFL. This was like in April or March. And then time went by. I went to train with them one time. He really liked me. He wanted to keep training with them. He wanted me to fight. I was good at the time. And then by May, I had signed up at Pugilist Gym. And then by July, they had a fight. Their first one, RFL had in June. And then the second one, they were planning. And he hit me up in July. And he's like, hey, I really want you to fight. Please come through. And I made the decision to. I thought I was ready. And it just was so organic, I guess you could say, that it came to me, especially how I met him at Tipsy Goat at a bar, at 1:30 in the morning. And that's how it came about to me getting this opportunity.
Did you ever see yourself as a fighter? Because a lot of people get involved in jiu-jitsu, but they don't necessarily go into fighting.
Yeah.
So you also had this beautiful respect for differentiating yourself from somebody who says, oh, I do fights. No, you do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So for you, if you have this reverence for it and just generally how you carry yourself as a martial artist, it exudes to me that you understand how to separate the two.
Yes.
So at what point do you say, oh, I do want to do this because it's a great opportunity, but you don't have to say yes?
When he first told me, that's where I was kind of like, it's good, but just I knew I needed to train. I didn't have a lot of I did have some striking, but I needed to dial in my game, and then when I knew it was especially real when he told me it was going to be at Tarantula Hill, I was like, this opportunity is so the first one where I work, and that is when I was like, this could be really good. I don't have to say yes, but I should.
It felt like it was made for you,
yes,
in a sense, because how often do you have fights going on in your literal backyard where you have the home field advantage, you have this opportunity, people are going to come support you, and maybe not to the extent that they did, but they hella packed that place and people had t-shirts. It was beautiful. It was wonderful to see. And one thing you should know is that one of the waitresses who was the servers who was walking around and taking orders, I looked at her and I said, does he really work here? What does he do? And she told me, and I go, oh, that's awesome. And she goes, he's really loved here. And I go, well, I could tell, but that's really awesome. She's like, no, he's just a good person. We all love him, and that's why we wanted to show out. And he showed out for us. So I'm going to get to that part next.
Right.
But before we get to the celebratory parts, did you feel more pressure having to perform in that home backyard? Because now this is your place at work. A lot of people would say home field advantage, but with that sometimes comes a bigger chip on your shoulder or more pressure to perform for that home audience?
I definitely felt the pressure, but I took the sign of like it being at Tarantula Hill and knew that it was meant to be, and to kind of embrace that moment and say, hey, like this moment was for me, and that pressure shouldn't matter. But of course the thoughts ran in my mind. And it was a lot of pressure, but I took it more as fire. I used the fear as fire. You know, I really said that to myself a lot, like in the past couple weeks. And it sounds cliche, but that's really what helped me, because I had performed in front of people before. Like I'd done jiu-jitsu tournaments, which has more people. Of course, not all these people are just watching you, but I mean, you're in an arena, so there's way more people than there was in that backyard technically. So I kind of thought of those things and didn't allow the pressure to get to me. Like even when I was getting ready to go in the cage, like people were chanting my name and stuff, and that was all great. But like that harshness, that Jekyll was like, hey, like don't listen to that. Like, why are you listening to that? You need to focus right now. Who cares? Like that's what that mean side of me was telling me, you know, to keep me focused, you know?
I hope you understand that there's a split in my head. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times if I get somebody, say a wrestler, because they tend to have really good aggression when they come in from a wrestling background and they come to my class, my thought process isn't to declaw them necessarily, but I do depower them. Mm-hmm. And here's what I tell them. I go, if you give me some trust and don't spaz out, I will make you technical in about 6 months to 8 months. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to give you your superpowers back. But if you can take them away and learn the formal foundation to all of this stuff, you will be a force to be reckoned with. Mm-hmm. And that you will have certain advantages that jiu-jitsu people are a little more timid or shy, and that you might develop faster or get wins over them because you know you can perform. So in a similar way, my first thought wasn't being like, he's being a dick. It's just, he needs this. Yeah. Because if you don't have that, why are you fighting? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like when we started the role, I was thinking, oh, you didn't hear me at any point go, hey, bud, can you tone it down?
Right, you didn't.
I was just like, he needs this, and it's dumb for anybody to ask him to do something differently unless they're a training partner and maybe they didn't sign up for it. But for me, I'm like, I can handle it. I want to see what it feels like. And as long as I can keep myself safe, I'll be fine. And then I was just recognizing, I was like, he hasn't figured out who's a threat and who's not a threat. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm hearing you tell me, and you're like, hey man, the first second you had a submission, I viewed you as a threat, and it became like a cage fight mentality. Because I'm like, dude, as you're telling me who that guy was in the cage, I'm like, of course you should be thinking that. Mm-hmm. But you'll notice the reason I don't fuck with it is because that's why you need it. Like you having that in that moment allows you to block out something that gave you the experience that other people don't have yet. So it allows you to have this very solid foundation where sometimes people get lost in like, oh, I got to perform for these guys. Oh man, I let them down. I didn't get a submission finish. Oh, I let them down. Like that to me is such a powerful mentality that I was like, oh, okay. So this dude's really got a secret weapon off of fight one. Mm-hmm. That part of the reason why we talked a little bit afterwards, I was like, no, he has a skill that is going to serve him well over time. I think the big delineation is going to be like, hey, but if you see somebody who's over 40 who's rolling with you, he's not trying to kill you. I promise you. And maybe because your professors are so good that you've worked with in the past, they don't feel like they're 40. Right. I for sure am not like them. So I was just looking at you, I was like, oh, he hasn't. I think he viewed me as a threat, and I am not a threat yet. So I was like, okay. So I want to return to this. You get this finish.
Yep.
What was going through your head, though, right as the fight started? Because this is your first time ever fighting. You obviously were able to separate them. Mm-hmm. But if you're able to block them out, what was in your head before that fight was starting?
In my mind, you know, I was looking at my opponent, you know, checking his body language, seeing his face, you know, like being aware of my surroundings, like knowing and thinking what I was going to do. And I honestly, I didn't think he was that scared, you know. I knew when I was downstairs, I could feel it. Like people were trying to say like, oh, good luck. And I was like, that wasn't even getting to me. I was like I said, that Jekyll part was like, dude, like focus, you know, like who cares if people are saying your name or people want you to win, like show them you can win, you know? And I just wanted the ref to say fight already. I was like, I just want this thing to start. I was ready. I'd like studied like UFC fighters, like before they're fighting, watching their body language, you know, like GSP, like what he would do if he's dogging them out, things like that. And all of them are nervous. Nobody's like just standing there, like, except maybe Perea, you know, Alex Perea. But he's different, you know, but everybody's scared, and you're just waiting for that fight. I was just like, let's get it started, you know, like I know all these people are here, like I'm ready to fight.
And I don't know if you knew this, but before your fight, I think it was Danny's fight.
Yes.
Where they had a halt. So there was a stoppage before they were even fighting because we had to wait.
Oh.
So they had to wait for the ambulance to come back. So what I saw was they walked out to the cage. They had to make an announcement like, hold up, everybody. So of course you don't see this stuff. But imagine you make the walkout. You're looking at the ref like, let's go. And instead they go, hold on, everybody. We need to take a few minutes. And then I have an interview lined up with Danny as well. So I'm going to ask him about this.
He's dope.
He seemed like a really, like you and him, of everybody who fought, there was a lot of really nice characters. Both had different things that appealed to me. Your niceness and professionalism spoke to me. Danny's looseness and overall chill personality kind of hit off where I go, oh, these are two very different extremes, and I like them both for different reasons. So you guys were the ones that are getting the post interviews with me.
Sweet.
But they had to put the jacket back on him. So like he's in the cage and they say, do you want your jacket? And they put it over him. Now, this might sound shocking to you guys, but it is a normal thing in fights where sometimes you have to take a break. The only difference here is normally you get that information before the next fight goes. So there was probably just a miscommunication somewhere. Something got held up. But because you guys are all so new, I'm so sympathetic to all of your nerves, your first timeness. So that's why when you're mentioning like, oh man, I just want to go, as I was like, sometimes things happen. So you having that skill is great. You may need to sustain it sometimes for just the presentation of it. You may notice at the UFC, it takes them like the pay-per-view never starts at 7 p.m. It starts at 7:20.
Yeah.
Because there's a little pomp and circumstance. So when a fighter's head, they're like, when do I go? And they're like, 7:20. And they'll be like, all right, cool. And then they'll hear like, wait, we have to wait. For what? We got to do a new commercial. There's the thing. So anything like this can happen.
Yeah, you're right.
But
that's good advice too.
It's me just realizing in the moment that when I hear somebody say that, I'm giving you an example of something you didn't get to see because you were locked in on your fight, but that did happen. Mm-hmm. And that always is a prominent possibility. So that's part one. Part two, because the fight ended so fast, what was your interpretation of what happened? Like from your perspective, you were waiting, you're anticipating, and then they say, go. And there's a lifetime of sports experience that flows through you that made it look absolutely effortless.
It was supposed to be, you know, I knew I trained hard, and I think when you trained like how I did, like when you train right, that's the result you get. So that was my, like in my mind, you know, after the fight finished, I was just like, bro, like you see, like you just had to trust yourself. I think you told me about earlier about believing, and that was one thing. But when we went to touch hands, I didn't even, things were so fast. Like for me, he was so fast. Like I was supposed to be the one that he was supposed to be chasing me more. And it was going so fast. I didn't realize I was chasing him, you know? I wasn't scared of his power. I knew he was more of a boxer and didn't have a lot of grappling. But in my mind, I was like, he was training for my shot. Like he's going to have a good sprawl. Like that's what I was thinking about this guy. You know, I didn't want to underestimate him at all. And he hit me once, and then like I kind of like tapped him with the thing. I was moving really good, but I was just tapping him, and then he got me in my eye. And in that moment, I felt like I didn't feel it. I was like, that, like I know he hit me, but I didn't feel it. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, he keeps doing that, he's gonna hit me with one, and it's not gonna be good, you know? Like, so that's kind of what I thought. And then at the same time, he's on his back's to the fence, and that's when me and my coach trained. The whole camp is me and Coach Austin. We trained. You know, he trained for when he was aggressive, like, you know, to shoot, you know, we trained when his back's to the fence to throw my combos and get him. But I kind of just went for it. I didn't even throw a combo, but I went. I thought I got a single leg, switched to the double. And when I took him down, I heard everyone screaming. In my mind, I was like, that's it. Like, this is, I didn't think it was over, but I was like, I know you're not getting back up, you know, because I could already tell by the way I took you down. And then he almost got me off of him. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
And I expected him to be very strong on the ground, but I didn't expect him to throw me off like that. I thought we would just come up at the worst and stand back up, but I got right back on top of him. And then I realized again, hey, I'm next to the cage. I brought him to the cage, and then I heard him breathing heavy. And I was like, yep, like I made him feel my pressure on the cage. Like, and then I went to full mount, and he didn't really have a lot of defense there. I wanted him to like bridge so I could keep my hooks, and you know, like they're kind of like in a little, they're like in a little tunnel when they do that in full mount. And I was like, I thought I'd get that. And then the punches just start going. My coach is like, hey, adjust. We literally went over it right upstairs. Like right upstairs, we went over it. I put my hand on his face. I landed 3 big ones, and he's like really
Shelling
tough.
up. Yeah.
But now he's just shelling up, and I keep throwing punches, and then I see the ref get closer. And then I just kind of I wasn't even throwing crazy. I threw 3 really good ones when my coach told me to hold him. And then after that, I was just picking my shots, and then the ref stopped it, and I didn't know what to feel. I screamed so loud. I was like, you know, I thought I was going to I told myself if I was going to get a TKO that I'd cry, but I had no feelings of wanting to cry. No feelings of crying. You know, I was like, bro.
Let's stop here. Why do you think you were going to cry?
I don't know. It's just like a movie moment. Like my first fight, I TKO'd him. Like, you know, like just like, I don't know, like, come on, you know, like I didn't even believe, and I freaking TKO'd him. So, yeah, it was a great feeling. It just is like the hard work paid off was the biggest thing for me. Like, yeah.
When you synthesized that, because I've seen how quickly you go from Jekyll to Hyde and Hyde to Jekyll, when do you feel you came back? Because you were very likely Jekyll when that was happening, or I'm sorry, Mr. Hyde, if you would. But when that's happening, you make this scream, so you're still in the moment.
Yep.
But I'm wondering if, as you're transitioning out of fighter, dude, if you start hearing the crowd and you start synthesizing, like, now I can enjoy this.
I did a little bit as I was screaming, because there was one point where they like Bailey, and I go like that, and I think that was more like a Jekyll side of me thing, you know, like, because that's not like it's dope, but I'm not like, oh, say my name more. Like I'm not like I'm not a very power driven individual, surprisingly, you know, except when I roar in the cage, you know, but then I think I came back to life when I don't know if you saw my friend, my coach, Douglas, he came up behind me and hugged me and picked me up. And then the commission was like, hey, like he could lose his license, this and that, just for him going in the cage too early. And then I came down, and even like when the ref had my thing, there's pictures of me, you could see my eyes are like still in that mode. And when you interviewed me and you talked about like, you're like, I know you want to go to a dance party or something, then I was like even more like, all right, like come back to earth, you know? Like,
yeah. I mean, that is usually my job. I've had fighters still with their mouthpiece in, talking to me and not realizing because they're on adrenaline.
Yeah.
I've had fighters scream at me. I've had fighters try to take the mic, which is a definite not happening. Like, I'm so sorry, young man. I will fight you to keep this mic. Because if I give it to you, we don't know if we get it back.
Yeah.
And more importantly, do they do that in the UFC? No. Nope. So, like, why do you get the microphone? Right. Like, I've got you, bro. Like, you're going to see me like a telephone cord just extend the whole time. Like, yep, we can go wherever, bro. I'll walk with you. But just so you understand, I never felt that other guy. When I saw you, I got to talk to you. Yeah. And the person that I know you as. And you seem so composed. Yeah. But before we started this interview, you looked at me and you're like, hey, I didn't quite land the post interview, which is absolutely absurd to me because I thought you had a just fine post interview. Like, if anything, I decided in the interview that we were going to do this. So I was like, I'll reach out to him or I'll offer it to you. So it was such a good presentation. Like, the fight was already good, but sometimes people have good fights, but there's not quite an energy that I go, I don't know that they'll work well with me or that I can do my best work.
Right.
But I felt like when I heard you up there, you were composed, you were happy. I go, all right, I'm gonna reach out to this dude.
Yeah.
What did we miss? And if so, I have an idea, but what did we miss?
So we missed that and sorry, Coach Thor, but I didn't say thank you to my Coach Thor, and he did help me a lot. He helped me a lot, and I don't know why I spaced it, but it was just like, no excuses. I didn't say thank you to my Coach Thor. Thank you to Pugilist Gym, Jen and Luis, who are the owners. Hold on.
I don't want to do it like this. I want to give us a real opportunity here to try and hit the home run we should have done.
Okay.
I thought it was a good interview. I thought we were good, but you're telling me we didn't quite hit the mark for you.
Yeah.
So you have the post-interviewer right here. Why don't we just do it again? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, is there any more shout outs you want to give? Yeah. Okay. So are you ready for this?
Yeah. Aside from the ones that I already gave, or give them all?
No, just do it again. Like clean. Because with the calm voice that you had right there, which was, I'd like to thank Thor. Thank you, Thor, for all of your guidance. I'm like, that's not who I talk to either. So I'm like, if anything, all of you know exactly what I'm talking about being like, this is primal fear, dude, right here. This is a different personality. If there's a murder, I'm just saying likely suspect. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use my phone as a microphone.
Let's do it.
And I'm gonna say what I would have said there. All right, you ready? All right. Bailey, that was an incredible fight. You've got so many people here who were so proud of you. Are there any shout outs that you want to give to your teammates or to anybody who helped you at this occasion? The floor is all yours, sir.
Hell yeah. I want to shout out my coach, Austin, who believed in me from the beginning. My coach, Thor, who really helped develop a lot of my game as well. Pugilist Gym, thank you, Luis and Jen, who opened their arms to have me in their gym. Thank you to Tarantula Hill, John Edney, Carrie, all my coworkers. You guys made it happen. Thank you to RFL, George, Paulina, Gianna, Jamal, who brought me into this game. Thank you guys so much. And last but not least, people were talking about pressure. This fight was no pressure. Pressure is living in Palestine, and pressure is living in an America where ICE can come and take your family away. That's real pressure. This was not pressure at all. This was me giving my best to the people I love. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Do you feel better doing that?
I feel way better. That's how I should have sounded.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, that would have been dope and would have gone over great. It's just, I like to tell people this. It's part of the way that you saw me in real time seeing how good you were as a grappler and your jiu-jitsu is. And me saying that's who he is. Got it. And I'm kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
I like to tell people, I've had some experience with this. You don't know what you're going to be like when that moment happens. So my best job that I can do is try to give you the forum and try to set you up as best I can. And I didn't know you.
You did great, though.
I did well. I felt like I did a good job, and everybody was very nice to me. I got great notes from them. And you know what's really dope is when a bunch of random ass Mexicans see you at the venue and they're like, "Hey, Holmes, that was good." And I was like, "Thank you, sir." You know what I mean? And it's so funny to me because I'm just like, if the people feel it, I think they feel my admiration and respect for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And that I try to loan my entertainingness and my ability to pull the best out of those people. So that's what I pride myself on. So I didn't have any notes. I thought we were good.
Yeah.
But I do know in the moment, you have to subscribe to the same feeling you have with fights, which is if you didn't land it in that moment, you can always do it on video. You can always do it on, your social media the next day. But there's no point in beating yourself up because how are you supposed to know how you feel winning your first fight when you didn't experience it? Now you kind of experience it. So you might have to write a couple bullet points that you go down to. But if the interviewer, if it's not me, is doing their job, they should be setting you up for that. And that is part of the reason why I usually say hey, last question, is there anything else we can do? But the one thing I did notice, two notes to my boys who won this week. One, so many of the guys, when I said, tell me about that fight, their team or them jump to, I want to thank my sponsors. And I was like, what are you doing? We're going to do that at the end. Like, there's no way I'm going to let you finish this without saying respect to my people, because a lot of those sponsors pay for people's medicals, your training, your food. There's so many costs that go into this. So like, there's no way I'm going to ever forget that. But 2, enjoy your moment. And if I'm asking you to tell me about your moment, I'm asking you to put a bookmark in your book for this one moment that we can't promise happens all the time.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is take some of that burden out and be like, whatever, you're fine. Enjoy it. Why is it such a great day today? And if we can catalog that, we've done our job.
Right.
So when you're like, man, I didn't hit the note, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But your boy's going to take care of you. So we got that on lock now. So I feel good about that. You deserve it. And I felt so good, and I could see the love. And what was so great was when the fight was over, I went over, got myself a beer. They were encouraging me. They were like, hey man, if you want to drink, you can drink. And I was like, I don't drink on the job until the job's done. But I'm like, I love Tarantula Hill. So can I tell you a few things about Tarantula Hill? Please. Okay. First things first. I've actually done interviews at Tarantula Hill. Really? Yeah. So we have a segment called Interbrew, where we do 30 minutes of an interview, and then the next 30 minutes we're doing taste test portions of beers. So I let the guest pick whatever beers they want to have. And if they're not huge craft or IPA people, then I pick out an assortment for them. And one of our guys fought. He won, and I wanted to give him his props, so we went over there. And I didn't know if they would be amicable to that sort of a thing, but they were so nice to me. They let us do it. One of my favorite segments to do. So I've always been like, oh, I should go back there. We should do another segment there. And then I saw you guys were posting fights there, and I go, they're amicable to it? But now they have a deal with Paramount Plus. So that's great. But like, to me, there are very cool rules that are not cool for the UFC in the past, where they don't want to have people watching stuff. Now, how do I know this? We do fight companions. So I'm always like, okay, I don't know if they're cool with doing it at a bar. And I was like, but we do fight companions. And I was like, oh shit, we should always look into one of those one of these days. So now that they have that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. We should probably look into that in the future with them. Lo and behold, your boy's looking at his social media, and then all of a sudden I see that they're doing fights at Tarantula Hill, and I go, it's about time. So that's when I reached out and I said, how can I lend my services? Like, how can I amplify or enhance whatever we're doing? So you have no idea how happy it made me to look on my social media and go, that's dope. And then to have one of their own get a freaking finish in 1 minute and 6 seconds. You can't ask for something better, bro.
True. It was a beautiful recipe, and I didn't want to go to work. I knew that I had enough love that people would be like, hey, it's okay if you lost the fight. Like, don't worry. Like, but they made shirts for me. Like, I was like, bro, you're not going to put me on a shirt and then me lose, you know? Like, so I really, there was that pressure, but it all really organically worked out.
You found a way to separate the two.
Yes.
So you could do the best that you needed to do, which I'm so happy for you, because again, like I said, that's something some fighters don't find until maybe 5 or 6 fights into their career. And sometimes they don't even have the right version that they need to go pro. But speaking of which, I saw on your social media that you put up a post to everybody. It's like, should I fight again? Why did you decide to put this to the collective brain trust of social media? Because they're not going to say no, right? Unless they're maybe like your mom or dad being like, we vote no. But anybody who saw that fight and got as hyped as they did that night is 100% behind you. So why put up that post?
Because it's like you talked about the belief. Like, you need more belief. And I think me, like, I know they're going to say yes. And when I see it, I'm like, okay, like, people do want it, you know, because I'll be like, oh, I'm humble, you know, like, maybe I shouldn't, this and that. But it was just to kind of make it a little, like, I was getting so much love on Instagram. I was like, let me do it like this style, like, hey, like, I'm a fighter. Like, do you guys want to see me fight again? And the amount of love I got, I was like, well, definitely that's there, you know, because sometimes I'm worried. I'm like, what if I go to a different organization and then I don't sell as many tickets and I'm not as popular as I was or something like that, you know? But that doesn't matter. It's more about going to just fight, you know? So that's kind of why, just to get a little bit more validation from the people, I guess
Social
you could
media
say.
whore, got it. Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, at least you understand the game, because I've seen how you were so good to your sponsors. You were shouting out that acai joint. Like, you did a good job in being a professional in that way.
Yeah.
So I just was thinking, I was like, well, I think this is an open and shut case. I just figured you're going to fight. Do you have a way you're leaning right now? Do you feel like you are going to fight again?
I do feel that. Like, someone told me, like, oh, you're going to get the itch. And I definitely have the itch, I want to strike more, I want to grapple more and test my grappling on someone who has a little bit more grappling. Like, see, like, oh, like part of me dealing with that pressure too was like, hey, I'm doing this for me. Like, this isn't for all these people. Like, it is, but like at the end of the day, this is what I want to do. Like, this isn't like, if I didn't know I was going to sell all these tickets and make any commission, like, I don't care about that. It's more on me and just how much I can train. Cause to me, I need to train. That's it. So if my work in this expensive ass California economy can allow me to train like a fighter, cause a lot of fighters, start young, and when they're 18, 19, they don't need a lot of like rent money yet. So they can kind of sacrifice and, do that for those years. But I'm 27. So it's like, I'm a little bit more where it's like, I gotta make sure my adult life is good. And I'm a hard worker, but, I got debt and stuff too. So I do want to fight again though. I do feel like I will, no matter what.
A few notes. I mean, if I'm somebody with money, and a lot of you seem like you did have some, I would be looking out to see if we can get sponsorships for your boy over here, because he's right. Rising costs are always terrible, but I think your performance and the way that you roll merits an investment from those people. And they don't have to do it, but if they know somebody, I think we need to find ways to supplement your training and those medicals and everything you need to pick. So like, if you can come up with a goal and go even 25% over that, I think it would be so beneficial that you have a little bit of a cushion for what you need to do. But like, you're loved, dude. And I think the hardest thing that people put on pressure for themselves for being older is that, sure, you don't have any of the baggage that young kids have, where they can just get up and move and leave and abandon and live at their parents' place. But what you have is much more experience. So the way that you roll like somebody who is ready for that challenge. You roll with, let's put it this way. I fear, if you don't fight, how badly you're going to fuck up jiu-jitsu people in rounds. Like, I think it's just a worthy investment. If you are a part of this man's team, you need to figure out how to sponsor him. Because really, if he doesn't fight, he's going to take it out on you. It's got to go somewhere. And I would venture better somebody else from a different team and a different fight camp than you guys. So extra incentive, just speaking from experience, that's all.
Please, and that is true, because I did a year no jiu-jitsu before this fight. I started training MMA in May. And that whole year was just, I don't know if I'm meant to be a champion. I don't know, if I'll get that far. Of course I have confidence, but for me, in my life, I was meant to do martial arts and jiu-jitsu and whatever, that part of me needs to be exercised, because it just helps with my mental health a lot. And just overall health. Like, I want to be a healthy person. I had my uncle pass away, rest in peace, in May, from a long time of late nights and not taking care of his health, and it really it changed my perspective of like getting back into training and like maintaining it. I know it's expensive sometimes, but like, keep it, because it's an investment into your health more than people think about. That's why how me and you know each other, even, and yeah, I do want to continue. I really do. I think, like you said too, because of that experience, it gives me confidence to know, like, I just have to train. Like, that's how I see it. Like, I literally just need someone to train me and do all the trainings, and I can get very far, yeah.
Well, first off, my condolences for your family.
Thank you.
That's obviously not ideal, but you did honor him with your performance this weekend, so you should take that into consideration as well. But you should also be freed enough to know it's okay to be selfish sometimes and just say like, I need this, I want this. And the more that you are able to clearly say that out loud, the more direction you're going to have. You'll find a way. And it is the hardest when you first start, but clearly you have the talent and the people behind you, but you don't owe it to them. If anything, if people truly believe in that vision, you're going to find the more you say it, the more people are going to come on that train. And the more people are going to be like, I believe in you too. Or like just you getting the social media love that you're getting.
Yeah.
Like catalog that when those fight nights are so hard or where you can't make training, you'll find a way. But I think the smartest people, despite whatever their obstacles are, they're creatively finding ways around it. So even though you didn't train jiu-jitsu a ton this year, you got to show off your striking. And you were almost probably going to put money on yourself getting a submission finish, but you got a striking finish. So you're still going to surprise yourself with the time, but it's going to show maybe you got this as a way of showing you, man, that time was well spent working on your striking.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to consider as you continue to develop that. But you mentioned some things, and this is your first time on the show. So we always like to get into origin stories. Yeah. So where does martial arts find its way into your life? Because you mentioned you wrestled. So did you wrestle first, or was there another sport you did before any of that?
I've always been an athletic kid. I started with soccer like most kids. You know, my grandpa is Peruvian. He was a soccer player. So I played that first. And then my father, he was a martial artist. He was like Taekwondo, Hapkido, you know, and he always wanted to train us, but we did like a little bit with like this Sifu, you know, like who knew some Chinese martial arts when I was like 10. And then 6th grade, my dad wrestled. So I was like, I want to wrestle like him. And I wrestled my first 6th grade. You know, I mean, you say I'm a nice guy. I was the kid who was scared of Chuck E. Cheese, you know, like that's the boy I was, you know.
Why are you scared of Chuck E. Cheese?
Dude, I was a scared little boy. Like I was such a scaredy, you know. And
no, I need an answer on this. What, like the animatronics made you scared?
No, the dude in the costume. Like I would run and hide in the slide.
No,
you wouldn't find me. You would not find me. I promise you. You know? This is the boy that was scared to get shots. Like you'd have to hold me down to give me a shot. You know, so I don't know how I did well, but I don't know. I had a natural thing to. I wasn't like, you know, smashing everybody. I did really well for my first year. I got like 6th grade MVP. You know, in the league championship for all the middle schools, I got 2nd. And then 7th grade, I just got lazy, and then I went back to 9th grade to get out of PE to do wrestling. And that year I did good too, but I think the mind part of like losing and in practice, like I didn't know like, oh, like the Kobe, like, you know, Kobe when he was 13 was like, I got to go to practice. Me, I'm like, oh, I suck, I lost, or like I hate practice, you know, and just wanted to be lazy. So I didn't play any other sports after my freshman year when I was 14. And then come maybe 2019, I started, you know, Joe Rogan was really popular for a while. I hear about 10th Planet, you know, I was really pretty into MMA. So I did start at 10th Planet. I did it maybe for 1 month. And the dudes were ripping my legs apart. You know, I got cauliflower in my first month of training. I'm not lying. I got cauliflower my first month of training. Because people are like, oh, you must be so good. I'm like, dude, it's literally my ears are just sensitive. Like, I don't know what it is. I got a surgery on it. And then after that surgery, I was like, I'm never doing that again. But I trained maybe like 1-2 months at 10th Planet and stopped. That was in 2019. And then come 2020, I had a friend, coworker, she trained at Murrumbee, and I'd heard so many great things. They train in the gi, and I wasn't accustomed to that, but I took one class, and I signed up that day. And then started doing that, and 2020 happened, COVID, and we stopped. And then by the end of that year, I got back into training more in the gi, and then that. In 2021, I had started competing as a white belt. Actually, my first competition as a white belt this is another reason why I knew I could handle the pressure, it was at the Hells Angels MC in Ventura. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that. But either way, they're cool.
You know what? I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
That one?
Gentleman named Jeff Glover. Yeah, he had the money on the mats, and I signed up.
That was your first experience?
That was my first jiu-jitsu tournament ever.
Wow.
Yeah, except from wrestling when I was younger. That was like, as an adult, like, okay, let's see how you handle the merchants. That was the first fight. and I won. I beat both the white belts in my division, and I got first. And that was like kind of like where we are in here. Like, imagine we're right here, and the people like it's just a little mat, and the people are all right there. My brother was there, my ex was there at the time, my girlfriend. So that was like another time I was like, I forgot I did that, and that was pretty much it. I got my blue belt at the end of that year, and unfortunately, a crazy bad breakup had me getting into jiu-jitsu. Like, I need to compete, and I tried to compete in the worlds. I lost first round, and then I started doing tournaments and started getting better, started lifting weights. And I wanted to get my purple belt before I started MMA, but I left too soon. And then I just went for it this year. I had a friend of mine, Coach Austin at HOODIES, who trained. He was a kickboxing coach at Murrumbee, so that's where I knew him in previous years. And then he left, and then 2 years later, he had told me that they opened Pugilist. And their first year, they had so many MMA fighters. I went there like maybe 2 years ago, and they had a fight team, and I signed up for that. And he knew I was tough, so he like brought me in, but I had never sparred MMA, so I'm going with like some real MMA fighters. I'm getting, I wasn't doing horrible, but of course I was getting smashed. I was getting punched a lot. They knew I had grappling, but I was still into jiu-jitsu and wanted to get my belt, and so I didn't sign up at that time. But then now, this year, after being out of training for a year, I was like, that's what I want to do.
Okay. So there's some start and stops.
Yes.
Can I just make one observation here?
Yes.
Now I know how to get into your head.
Perfect.
You ready for this?
Tell me.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Tell me.
Next time we roll, wearing a Chuck E. Cheese rash guard. 100%. No. So that way, all you have to do is confront your fears the entire time you're going to be staring at it. Literally going to make you question everything you're doing while we roll.
Bro, I will. I'll be definitely nervous.
Hey, you know what, though? I need to get that mental edge now. I've seen where we're at. Now I'm just going to be like, hey, I think Jekyll can come a little bit further down, sir.
You're bringing up childhood trauma here.
Hey, brother, I play dirty.
That's
like,
okay.
This is the nicest version of me that you will probably ever see.
Damn.
Because I tell people, like, as you get older, bro, like, I come from the Eddie Guerrero school of lie, cheat, and steal. So shit's going to happen real dark the next time. I just hope you understand. I will 100% put a pocket knife in me. And if I need to, I will stab you the next time.
Hey, bro, you got to do what you got to do.
I'm just glad understand this. At this point, you know what I have to do. Especially as you get older and you're just like, I don't move as fast. This sucks, bro. But two, now I know if I just keep some syringes out here as well, I'm going to be like, oh, hey, what's this needle doing here? You're going to be like, oh, no.
Don't do it.
Well, the good news is it bodes well for your team because that means you're too scared to take steroids. So you're just naturally strong. So congratulations to your S&C team. Because the thing that made me laugh is I was like, bro, I can't tell too many other people who go to weigh in their underwear at their job. So when I saw, I was like, all right, well, at least he's in good enough shape. But there was a moment where I go, I don't know that I want to weigh in at the place where I work. So I definitely had a moment where I was like, yeah, I didn't think of that part until I started putting together where you have to fight and where you go. But two, now I also figure out some other trauma. Now I know why you were so angry at the electric chair. Because you started at 10th Planet, which meant that shit is 100% the stuff they do.
Yeah.
Which is normally bullshit moves. Like,
no, it's
legit. But like a lot of people have been mad at me because I'll do this. It's like one of my go-to like finishes. And that's why I knew. I was like, I've got it pretty good. I don't think he's in a good place about it. But I usually know I've got it. It's just a little bit later, you were like, no, like looking at me like, and I go, oh, I think that's that Murrumbee kicking in. I think that
is Murrumbee.
100%. That dude being like, this is some bullshit. Get out of here. So I had a good laugh about that. I always ask people this as a follow-up to when they first started. So for you, where did you fall in love with jiu-jitsu? Like at what point did you recognize you wanted to do this as more than just a hobby?
When I got to Murrumbee and learned under Professor Fabio, I knew I was really learning jiu-jitsu. Like 10th Planet was great, but it was like, even my you don't really call him professors there, but the professor or coach you want to call him, he was like Eddie Bravo doesn't like white belts. He liked purple belts because they already have a base for jiu-jitsu and he can show them all those, you know, I don't want to call them even those just different techniques, you know, like, and I think when I got to Professor Fabio, like you were talking about how when someone said you won't let them roll for a day, at Professor Fabio's, you can roll for 24 classes.
Right.
And that helped a lot, and especially during COVID. And then I just really learned from, like, I remember one of the first like lessons I had, it was on a bag, just doing arm bars as drills because it was COVID, you couldn't do anything. And after I did it, I learned how to do arm bars like so good. I was like, oh, like that helped so much. So really at Marumbi and being under Professor Fabio, not knowing how much of a legend he was, not knowing he had been from Ryan Gracie, Renzo Gracie. Renzo Gracie's team at the time was Gordon Ryan, the Don Hard. So I watched Renzo Gracie's documentary and I see my Professor Fabio in there fighting MMA on his team. When I signed up, it was like a good coincidence. I had known. Another thing, I don't know if you see this tattoo. I got the Punisher here. John Bernthal trained at Marumbi in Ventura, his kids and him, because he's lived in Ojai. So I met him and I was like, yeah, I'm at the right place. Like, I met the fucking Punisher, you know, like.
I mean, think about it like this. We live where we live, and sometimes regionally you just fall into a good instructor.
Yeah.
And so what I told people is I started at 10th Planet as well, but I recognized I wanted to learn the gi. So for me, it was going to be important to go to places that would either do both or that I would have to go to two different schools.
Yeah.
And I went to a place that initially was just teaching more gi, and I found a lot of my friends teaching more no gi, and I worked with them individually. So now I have like two different spots that I go to, one for specifically gi and one for specifically no gi. And I feel like my gi powers are going away.
Really?
Yeah. But I recently put it on for the first time in, believe it, like a year and a half. And similar to the way we rolled today, I wasn't necessarily winning a ton of the rounds, but my things kicked in where I was like, oh shit, okay, do this and this. And I noticed that one of the dudes who I rolled with who can beat me, but that day had a problem, was like, you're more annoying in this. And I was like, I know. And I think I'm way more vulnerable now because I haven't done it as much.
Yeah.
But it felt good to put it back on and say like, all right, cool. So now I just I feel like I have to start from ground zero and build my game back up. But I love the gi. I tell people no gi is the sport, gi is the art.
Yeah.
And that is sincerely how I feel. And it's hard to convince people, but I think it's so cool when you do it at a top tier level.
I agree. I think it's very hard. My hot take is that gi is harder than no gi. And my other hot take is the Brazilians say that no gi isn't real jiu-jitsu. For me, no gi is is more real jiu-jitsu because you don't have the gi, in my opinion. Because like in the Greek and in the Senegalese wrestling that they have in Senegal, like nobody's wearing a gi. All wrestling is all body. So for me, real jiu-jitsu is no gi, and the gi is the sport, like really hard, 100 different grips you can have. And I never thought I'd train in the gi, and when I got to Professor Fabio's, I really enjoyed it, you know, and it builds a different type of mental toughness.
Agreed.
Because it has the grips, because you're stuck a lot of times. You got to be a little bit more patient than no gi. You know, no gi's like wrestling with jiu-jitsu, you know. But yeah, the gi is great. And as a martial artist, I love them all, you know, like for me, it's like, just if I'm doing that sport, let me know what's good in it. Like I told you, in no gi, I don't have a guard yet. I know some. In the gi, my guard is I'm a lasso guard guy.
I was like, this dude's lying so hard to all of you guys. And I want to expose what a goddamn liar he is. And he's just like, I don't have a guard. Oh no. But like, try to pass it. I want to be like, no, but for real, like he's got a very solid guard. But I feel, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you have somebody like Fabio, you know the level of what something really good looks like, because he's making it look effortless. So then when you put it into terms for yourself, you probably say like, no, that's not a guard. That's a guard. So I understand what you're saying, but for where you're at right now, especially 5 years in with off and on breaks, you are above where I think most people would be. So I think you found a way to combine all those years of other stuff. All right. We've covered that. I do have a couple other questions.
Let me know.
Okay. What do you like to do when you're not doing martial arts or jiu-jitsu, sir?
I'm going to tell you, and I hope this is a big like brain buster for you, but I love going to raves and watching, and specifically house DJs. Like, I love that shit. Like, I love that the house music scene is really. I got into it literally right when it started really popping, like at the beginning of 24. And that's what I love to do. I love going like with my friends and some of my family to those DJ events and just listening to the music.
Do you have any favorites?
I do. I like Green Velvet. He's a DJ. Mo Chalk, a lot of people know him. I saw Clooney. I've seen a lot of good DJs. I recently went to a Boiler Room like 2 weeks before the fight. And that was great. It was a lot more techno, not as much house, but all of it I like. I really started liking it. Like, there's a bunch of beautiful ass girls. There's good music. There's drinks. It can be annoying to some people, but if you really enjoy the music, you can go there and just vibe. And you saw I like dancing, so for me, even the little 1-2 with the house music is fine for 5 or 6 hours.
I'm very happy because most fighters can't fight. Or I'm sorry, most fighters can't dance. So when they do, they just start doing shadow boxing, and it infuriates me. But you have a connection to music.
Yes.
That is way deeper down on your Instagram.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Have you done anything else with music, sir?
I used to create music.
What did you used to create? What kind of music did you used to create?
I was trying to do like rap. I was trying to be a rapper, like rap, hip hop. And funny story, I actually performed at Tarantula Hill as a rapper before. So not only have I fought there, but I've also, performed with the mic there. I wasn't some crazy Eminem, but I feel like I made one really good song that people liked, and the rest was kind of like just putting stuff out. But now I know if I do go back into music, what direction I want. And a lot of people do tell me to go back into music. That will be my only brag for today, aside from fighting. A lot of people tell me to keep doing music.
Okay. I have questions. I'm a huge music guy.
Yeah.
So when I was doing my research and I'm scrolling down, I realized that you had a different name. So I was like, well, I have to ask him if I'm getting the right name here, because I saw you went by a different alias.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Bailey Jordan. And I go, oh, that's the same kid, right? And then I saw you rapping and I go, wait, 100% I have to ask him about this. What made you want to do that? Because it seems to me, from what I have learned about you today, you like creative outlets.
Yes.
So for martial arts, that's a creative outlet, as well as a physical one for that and your emotional mental health. You also have been somebody who has enjoyed going to watch music.
Yep.
So that's pretty clear to you and to me. But making it is very difficult.
Yes.
And I have to be honest, I love going to karaoke and having fun with my friends, but I don't think I'm a singer. I'm a performer. So I'll perform the fuck out of it. And I've been at karaoke places where there are actual singers and done equally, if not better than them, because I don't try to come in with the circumscribe of, oh, I'm so good at this. I'm just like, no, I'm going to perform the fuck out of this. So to me, that extra step to actually creating music is like, damn, that's a lot of work. And what makes you want to do that?
I was interested. That was like the first thing when I was 18 is like, that was like, oh, that's my thing. I want to make music, But I grew up in a musical family. The uncle that I told you had passed away, rest in peace, he was my Uncle Lion. We called him Uncle Lion because his stage name was Hawaiian Lion. He was a reggae singer. And so I grew up with like my dad in the garage, playing the drums and bass. I grew up with a lot of reggae. And my mom sang as well. So she wasn't like, she was the one that they would tell, like, you should sing karaoke. Like, we want to hear you sing, And she's very humble about it. But she sang, my grandma sang. I come not only, actually, well, my dad was a martial artist, but music and I would say fighting are my things. Like, those are both my things. Music, I kind of like pause on it because I was very like insecure about like trying to be this like hip hop artist and then coaching like kids jiu-jitsu on Tuesday, like it just was weird. I'd have parents coming to me be like, I like your music, and I liked it. It was really nice compliments, but I was just like, it doesn't mix, so it kind of turned me off from the music stuff.
I mean, I think you need to recognize the world we live in. Everybody has 5 side hustles.
True,
so like, it's pretty wild that sometimes I've seen people, like, I've done comedy and I had people who came up to me, they're like, oh, I loved your show and this. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I take nothing against that. Like, it's a part of me. And they're like, oh, do you perform with this person? And I'm like, yeah, they're really cool. I like them. It's just what you do. Like, I think social media has made people a little apprehensive to just try and be who they are sometimes. Like, sometimes it's like, oh, I feel like I'm good at this, but I also don't want to deal with people's bullshit. I just want to put it out there, and if you're compelled to do it, sometimes you have to do it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I need that more with music, to be honest.
Well, then allow me. Can we get something from you here? Do you mind doing something? I don't know what you would do. I don't know if you want to give a snippet of your song or something that you've done, because it's something I've never had with somebody on the show before. Nobody's ever told me they had a musical gift. So I'm like, oh shit, now I'm intrigued.
So I do have some. I've showed these songs before, and people have told me to drop them. I've had these songs for like 2 years, and
So these are unpublished songs that you've made, but that you've been holding on to. So while you're looking it up, any particular reason why you've held on to it and not released it?
The social media fear, like of like. Just like, oh, he's trying to be a rap. Like, he's trying to be a rapper.
Who gives a shit, bro?
I know, I care, you know, or like.
Think about it like this. Eminem was a white dude in all these different places, and people are like, this white dude. And it's like, actually, he's really good. Oh, shit. Like, a lot of these things work now because you just break down a stigma. So I can't say that you wouldn't get it, but like, you made it. So at the same point, it might go to waste. So
True.
Go ahead. Tell me what I can learn and expect from this, sir.
I think you're gonna see. There's definitely that duality in me of like the music is fighting is very tough. You know, you're supposed to be so tough, but the music part is very free and creative. You know, there's no toughness to it. Like it's more beautiful, I guess you could say. But I don't know how you would explain it. Like I don't know how to explain my music, so I'm gonna let you choose.
Okay.
You want to hear part of Rock With You, Soda Pop, or Give Me a Break?
Those are good titles. So hold on. Rock With You is like one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. So there is that. So I don't want to create an expectation of like the king of pop.
Great song.
But the third one you said, what's the name of the third one?
Give Me a Break.
I need a break. So
all right.
Play that shit for me.
Let me see the date. I made this 2 years ago. I had to record it 2 times. Shout out to Retro, Ty Retro Beats. That's who I recorded it with.
Oh my, I made it this far. Who would have thought? I brought so much power. I'm charged abroad. I'm so lost. Is this really my life? Did I really do it right? Or did I do it that despite my might? I ended up a thief in the night. You see, I ain't right. Best believe in my light. I can't grieve. I don't like it. I'm meek and I'm righteous. They mad cause they see that I'm light. But fuck it, like Weezy said, this is my life.
Well, thank you. First of all, it's never been played publicly anywhere else, right?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
You know what's great is as I'm listening to it, I hear your influences. So it's very wild to me that I can see you have a specific genre of rap artists who I love. So it's almost like you're playing in that genre.
Yeah, I call it like indie rap. That's what I call it. It's not like, I'm obviously not trying to be some like hood rap or something, but it's like indie alternative rap, like that style. I'm a big fan of Kendrick Lamar, and he does that very well.
Yes.
I'm sure you've heard his Damn album, and that is like, I would say that's a very big inspirational album to the style that I like, you know?
It also, for me, harkens back to some Outkast, a lot of South rappers. So to me, it felt like, as soon as I heard you say Weezy, I was like, okay, he was in the South where I was feeling part of at least the composition of what I knew rap at that time.
Right.
There was a very relaxed vibe on the early Outkast albums that drew you in. And then I could hear the inclination in your voice, the tone, where I was like, yeah, that's an era I grew up in. So thank you. I appreciate that, man.
And that's another reason why too, because that style is like not popular, but now there's so many niches and artists that anyone can have their own style, you know? Like, so I know that's there, but I knew it wasn't the most popular. It's not like trap, it's not future, you know, but
I mean, do what you need to do.
Right.
But it's a big lost opportunity because nobody else can really walk out to their own songs.
True.
So I'm just saying, in the future, you're going to be like, my single's dropping at my next fight. So you guys can download it right now.
My coach told me that. He's like, you should walk out their song. I was like, I don't really have one yet, but I could maybe make one, you know?
You got time because we haven't decided when you're fighting next yet.
True.
But I would tell you this. I don't think there's anything that you would put out with that you would need to feel self-conscious about.
Thank you.
It's a genre. It's great. I enjoy it. And what's great for me is how do I put this? I'm a little bit of a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
So I have found my key is to put out stuff that feels imperfect and move on to the next thing. And that has been my creative outlet. So whenever I see these shows, sometimes there's a moment where I go, that didn't go right. Like full disclosure, we have like one edit in this episode. It's pretty clear when it happened. And it would bug me to like try and figure out and finagle. Like, we're just going to show you like it was an edit. Like my favorite is sometimes my social media guy who clips this. He's like, did you know? And I was like, oh, I'm aware. That edit was the only way I had to get around it. And I usually do 48 interviews a year. So 4 per month. And that's on top of the live episodes, which is weekly for one show, and doing pre and post shows for some specialized things. So it's like, you can't get married to perfectionism when you appear live. And you have to learn how to release and just let it live. And sometimes I think the best note I've ever been given by like other people I respect and who are creative geniuses is just like, if it drives you and makes you want to do it, don't let it go to waste. So I feel like you got something. So I wish you well in doing that.
Thank you.
But now I know that I have this snippet. I'm also going to play it when we roll the next time as like the extra, like you're literally walking into an escape room of trauma the next time we roll, sir. And because I did pin him, I want that 6th grade award that you won for wrestling, because now I think, again, I'm going to put that up as ransom the next time. And I'm just going to say like, all right, man, whoever wins gets that thing.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I would say that. We've come to the end of the interview, and what I always like to do, even though you did shout out some people before, I always like to tell people that is their camera. Feel free to shout out friends, family members. I know you reached them all and you told them all up top, but what we like to do here is also make a plug. Do you have any sponsors?
I don't have any sponsors yet. I will.
Hold on. So what we're going to do is he's going to shout out who he wants to shout out, and then we're going to make a plug as to why you should be sponsoring this man. So that camera's yours, sir.
Got it. So first of all, I want to shout out my mom. It's her birthday tomorrow. So that's the clearest shout out. Well, technically it's right now. It's her birthday. Right. So happy birthday, Mom. Just all my friends and family again, because the pressure was there, but it helped motivate me more than anything. And I feel like in the moment I was like, you know, God's giving you this moment and you need to own it. Like, don't shy away from it. And with the love and support of all my friends and family, that's the best thing for me. Shout out to Hyla, Kanoa, Haido, Kalani, Daniela. I love you guys, you know, and yeah.
That's what's up. All right. Let's turn our chairs. We're going to speak directly to this. So I want to be directly at the people. All right. Here's what I'm going to say. You want to support this man and sponsor him because he got not only one of the sickest knockouts for a new organization, but if he keeps that up, he could become a franchise star for that organization. 2, even if he doesn't continue to fight, this man's going to be a terror in jiu-jitsu. You are going to see him competing somewhere because it's deep within his blood. So you will see him competing at jiu-jitsu events for sure in the future, because if there's one thing I know about somebody that's competitive, if they tell you out loud they didn't do as well as they wanted to do at IBJJF, they come back with a vengeance later. And if the man I rolled with today is any indication, those people in that blue belt division have a lot to fear because he is a pristine product of the people he has been training with. So what I would say to you is this. What are you doing with your money? Where are you spending it? Can you take away a Netflix subscription to help somebody else achieve their dream? Can you take away something else, less coffee, whatever it is? All those bullshit things that they tell you will like change your life and make you buy someone a house, that's not going to happen. But if you take away a couple of those extravagances, you can help somebody on a smaller scale level. And really, this is the only way shit works. So if you want to see this dude accomplish his dreams, get in right now, sponsor him, 200, 300, 400 bucks. I know it is not the easiest to let it out at these lean times, but what might seem like an insignificant amount of change to you can be life-changing to a guy who's just starting that journey. So right now, look at him. If he doesn't get money, he's going to beat up people. And I can't promise you I can contain him. Right now, I can stop him a little bit, but it's a little bit like rolling with the Hulk. Right? There's only a few ways to stop him, and I'm really not pro giving people concussions. So if you want to give some sponsorship money to this man, get some merch, get some gear, buy some tickets, whatever it is you can do. And even if you have $0, spread the love by showing this man's content and giving him some extra skin in the game there. So let's get some sponsorships, you guys.
Please. And I'm telling you, it'll be worth it. I know if I continue on this road of fighting, that there's nothing more I want to do than to be in the gym training for every fight, you know, because the number one thing is I don't want to get embarrassed in front of all my friends and family either. So to train more is how I do that, and your money would be put to good use.
Agreed.
So
that means next time I have to be able to pass your guard for free. I hope you understand that. Right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And technically you already passed my guard.
I know that. But I mean, I just wanted to bring it up because like I did like nothing really good, but I'm taking my wins where I can. Let me go ahead and clean up this bitch. I'm going to tell you guys as a reminder, like, comment, subscribe. If you have not figured out what you want to comment on, I told you at the end of this video, I would give you something to comment on. Here's the thing you're going to comment on. What is your outside hobby that you're afraid to do that social media might give you some feedback on? I'll tell you one thing. I love doing this show so much that it almost is a hobby, but it is a business in its way. But I've never cared if people don't like it. Do you know why? Because there's 4,000 other shows now. But when I first started, there wasn't a ton. So I already know my area is secure, and like we were one of the first. And I think we do a good show, and I'm always proud of it. And I don't let people take that away from me. So let us know in the comments if there's something that you have not published or produced. And just know you're amongst friends now, because this man played part of his music for us, and he didn't have to. But he didn't give a fuck. This dude's going to fuck you up if you sign the waiver. So there's that. As a reminder, check us out, patreon.com/grappling hour. Become a subscriber, $5 a month. You can be very life-changing here as well and support your boy. You can also come in at $10 for extra bonus content not seeing anywhere else, including Roast Raph, tape studies with these athletes where we break down their fights and their matches with the athletes involved, and extra bonus content you will not find anywhere else, including extra episodes. So we do that for you guys. And again, go check out raphesparza.com/merch. Get you some hoodies, get you some t-shirts. And right now we've got some tank tops for those of you who want to show off the gains that you're getting, or that you are too afraid to put needles in your body, but have suspicious levels of elevated that I'm going to get USADA tested on him a little bit later. And last but not least, check us out at Discord if you want to continue the conversations that we have here on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, my thanks to you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to get to roll and to actually have a great conversation with you. I wish you nothing but great success in your future.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate everything. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here at the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.
Perfect.